The harvest data form titled project. It's OAuth Verification, and select scopes in this video for project number 395971130797. Okay, first and foremost, showing the OAuth verification process itself. There are a series of macros that will be loaded when the client would be able, or the user would be able to access this script and set it up initially. It's go through these 5 macros sequentially, the first one being simply to trigger the OAuth verification process. And you see it says OAuth or authorization required. You hit OK. This is my account, and I'm going to select my account. Hasn't verified, so advanced. Go to harvest data form unsafe. And we're going to review these privacy and policies and various things and whatever, and we're going to select all of these different scopes where we can access. So before we move on, manage spreadsheets from this application, connects to an external service, email as you, allow the application to run while you're not present, time zone and country, and third-party web content. These all correspond with the with the requested scopes in the project itself. Let's go to the editor and see the app script JSON, and you go down to the bottom and you see where requesting locale, where are they at, send mail, which is what we're here to show and demonstrate, external request, also show and demonstrate, Script.App, Container.Ui, show and demonstrate, spreadsheets only, spreadsheets.current only in place of the auth/spreadsheets full access. So the script has been changed over to only need just the current workbook, and then user info to get the email of the user at the time they're using this workbook. So continuing onward, there we go. Continuing onward, we accept the verification. Just had to find out where I was there for a second. The OAuth verification is complete, so if I were to go over to my third-party access, refresh it, now it says there's an additional apps and services requesting my information, and we can see it down here, harvest data form. And if we go down further, you can see the what is it accessing of our from our what scopes are accessing our information, and they correspond to the exact same shown in the OAuth verification step window. All right, with that complete, we can move into the Script.App scope and how we will use it. This project uses 2 triggers. It uses an onEdit and an onOpen. And for the sake of demonstrating how the scope is used, if I were to delete one of them, delete it forever, and go back to the script, and we were to go through the macro, which is a link to the app script function, to using Script.App to create the workbook trigger itself. The script runs, it finishes without any problem, and if we were to go back to the script, go back to our triggers that we were just at, we would now see two triggers again, with the one that was deleted added back. So, and upon initial setup, it will create both of these triggers, so that when the user opens the workbook, certain processes run, and whenever the user modifies the worksheet, certain processes will run as well. There's not a lot of information set up right now. There's some base information that needs to be set up so that the user can interact with the forms, the harvest data forms themselves. If I were to add myself as a person in place of the default and put my actual vtext information in, or corresponding cell phone provider, email address, SMS address, and then go through the operation itself and say that I want to harvest from this field, this default field, this default farm, and I were to put in some sort of specific tare weight, let's call it 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and I were to submit that, the on-edit event triggers, things have moved on, and what we should see is any available email provider here listed. The script will use the user's email that has access to this right now to create an email, which is an email recipient will be the user's SMS address. So if we were to go to my sent mail, for example, and refresh, oh, it's already there. So the recent load was at 218. The loaded weight was 12,345 pounds, just as we entered on the form itself. Is in question is external request. There are paid portions of this, using this app script, specifically related to the triggers themselves within the code. The exact positions where this is relevant. If one were to go through the code and find the on-edit section, they would find that everything first has to go through determining whether the person has a delinquent or non-delinquent account set up with the payment processor Stripe. So to see all that, we would go through and find the account verification process, where you can actually send out a request to Stripe's API using the user's email to then later decide whether their account is delinquent or not delinquent. Should it be delinquent, the lists tab will populate here inactive, or become active when should they not be delinquent and their account paid up. And accessing this, they have it in the base script outside of the triggers themselves. So once they go through here, they activate their account. This is simply an OAuth verification and then activating account. The user is then prompted to either start a free 30-day trial, or you pay a monthly $20 to be able to use this app year-round and take advantage of some of the functionality that is only available once with the paid subscription. They can always go back and edit their own accounts through an existing customer payment portal, where they can update payment information, email addresses, etc. And the final one that we want to look at is Container.Ui, that scope, which helps us create or interact with the user interface. There's various inline HTML windows that will pop up upon user requests to help kind of streamline the look and feel of using this information. It's easy enough to have a template that builds itself from the app script itself once the user's downloaded the workbook, but then able to interact with that data once they've filled up a database. And this is just some template data or some default data that I've loaded in for the purpose of this video. They can either create reports, various field summaries where they can go through and filter out what they don't want to see or what they do want to see and create something sort of tabular and standard. Or they can go through and open a dashboard, and it would populate against the data that is present here. And for example, with the data, the default data behind, showing all years, all farms, fields, crops, and end uses, we can see this various information. And OAuth verification. So that wraps up the scope and OAuth verification steps here with the harvest data form, again showing the project number itself is 3959711, 30797.